there, it's Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are going to be doing a really easy but old technique that has been around lots, but I am really liking this kind of technique for quick and easy cards and kind of making a set of cards where we're going to do a little bit of double masking. Now I'm going to use two different types of masking, and for the middle one I'm going to use the Gina K masking paper. This is what I always use if I need to have really reliable masking paper. So I keep all my little scraps there in the back, and then I'm going to choose an image to go in the middle, which I will mask. In this case I'm going to use the balloon set, and it does come with its own coordinating die, but I'm not going to use that today, and I'm going to stamp this down in a couple of different places. Now I am using some VersaFine Onyx black ink, and I'm going to stamp this down onto the masking paper just nice and in the corner because this is going to become a mask. Then I have a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card base. And this cardstock is the £110 Recollections brand cardstock, and if you are in New Zealand or Australia then we are able to get this at Spotlight, and if you are in the US then it's easily available in several different places. So I have been really enjoying this cardstock for my card fronts and card bases. Now I'm going to pour on some clear embossing powder, and this just makes the image kind of really shine. It gives it that extra little bit of shine. But it also means that I cannot smudge the image, which is really important given that this is a focal image. I'm actually going to emboss the ink that is on the masking paper as well. Since I am doing this to the card front and my heat gun is nice and hot, then I'm going to add the embossing powder onto the mask, and that means that I also cannot smudge that, and none of the black ink can ruin my image. So it only takes me an extra couple of seconds, and I always save these masks, so I put them in the back so it's not really a waste of time. It's just something that I'm able to do, and that means I definitely won't get any smudging. Now I'm going to fussy cut these out. When I'm fussy cutting and I want inked right up to the line, I am going to cut right in the middle of that black line, if not on the inside of it, and in that way I won't have a white halo left around my image after I am finished inking. Then I just need to cut out this tiny little bow which is at the bottom, and I have my two tiny little masks which I'm going to put on straight away because otherwise I will lose that little bow. It is a very little mask, and then I'm going to pull off the release paper from the back here and just put it to the side because I always save it. As I said, I pop it back into the stamp set, and then we are ready to start our second mask. Now this one I could use the same masking paper, however in my opinion this one works just as well if not better because it tears better. This is, I think there's some 50 or 60 pound, it was just in a pile, it's a scrap piece of paper, and all I'm doing is I just ripped the center, and then I am working my way around to rip this piece of paper, pretty much going in the same direction, pulling towards me as I rip, and then I'm just going to keep ripping until I think I have a big enough oval, sort of circle oval, to cover my image and then a little bit more. Now this is just a really fun, easy technique. Of course there are lots of different ways you could do this, and if you don't like the ripped look then you could definitely just die cut a shape and add that behind it as a mask. As I said, you could do this out of masking paper as well, but given that I really liked the ripped look of it, the masking paper doesn't tend to give that nice edge quite so well just because it's what it's made out of. So I prefer doing this, but either will work fine, and this way is I'm just using up some scrap paper rather than using up my precious masking paper. So once I think I have it big enough, as I said, I want it to be a little bit bigger than the actual image. Now I do have a couple of these cards. I'll show you another one that I did at the end, and these would be really fun to kind of make into a set of cards. They don't take much time at all, which is definitely a bonus. When I'm doing this type of masking, I use the Tombow Mono removable adhesive. This is definitely my favorite. It leaves no residue. It has the perfect amount of stick. It is definitely not permanent, so make sure that that's not what you want to use it for. It comes right back up again and doesn't leave any residue. So this is my favorite one, and I'm just going to pop this all around the outside of where that little ripped edge is, and then center it over my image. And then when I press it down, I'm going to make sure I firmly press all around the outside so that everything is sitting as flat as I can get it. Now with this technique, I always find that at least a couple of ink colours is best. Today I'm going to use Cracked Pistachio, Peacock Feathers and Mermaid Lagoon. I've gone for 3, kind of a light, a medium and then a darker colour. I think it kind of looks really good if you have at least 2 colours, or if you only have 1 then maybe you can go much lighter handed on the inside and then move towards being darker. But I'm just going to use my finger daubers because it's quite a small space. I did choose a pretty big central image. This one is obviously going to be a birthday card. However, the other card that I did is actually a friend of mine who is pregnant. So it's a little congratulations on expecting card that I'm going to send to her. She is so excited. And so, yeah, as I said, this one is going to be a birthday one, and the central image is just a little bit bigger than my other one at least. Now, I did just want to note that when it comes to blending, and particularly because we are blending different colours here, the kind of greens and the blues, you just need, it is about being patient, and it's about going back and forward between the colours. So kind of building up the ink and making sure you go back and forward, and that way you will get a really nice soft blend in between the two. These ones I am using Oxides today, but that kind of, it goes for any ink blending. It's a patience game, and go back and forth, and you will end up with a really nice blend. This Recollections paper blends absolutely fine for doing images like this, where you're not doing whole page blending. I haven't done a lot of whole page blending with the Recollections brand, but that's something that I will give a go as well. And then here I'm coming in with the darker colour, and I'm just going around the very edge. So I'm trying not to get hardly anything at all, but it's just going to give it that final little bit of depth around the outside. And yet I am still going to come back and then with the other colours kind of blend it in just a little bit more, just so it's not quite so stark around the outside. But blending and going back and forth between colours is key. You can see my mask is holding up perfectly fine, and that adhesive is doing an absolutely perfect job, just exactly what I need it to, and that's what I really like about my tools. The Gina K mask in the middle is holding up well to the ink, and then the paper mask is doing its job perfectly fine using that adhesive, so everything is working as it should. And here I'm just going to finish up. I promise I was going back and forward, and I'm pretty happy with how it is now. Now it's the big reveal, and this is my favorite part, because from such a simple design and such a simple little bit of inking, it looks gorgeous and it's really striking having this gorgeous white image in the middle. I'm trying to get that little bow and then I will pull off the rest of the balloons and we get to see a full reveal. Now I am going to finish off this card by adding a little sentiment down the bottom. I am just going to use the same black ink, and then I have the Crafter's Companion Birthday Sentiments stamp set. I have used this one a few times and really enjoy just these really dainty, fine sentiments. So anything would work down the bottom here. You could also put in a little banner. You could add some ribbon to this. You could add some sequins. I'm going to keep this super simple today. This is a really nice short technique that is easy to achieve, and I am going to pop the sentiment down the bottom. Now, I didn't actually press very well on the actual stamp, so I did skip a little bit, but never fear, just coming in with a black liner and filling in some of those little bits that didn't quite stamp as dark as I wanted to. Or you could use a stamp platform if you wanted to make sure that you were going to get a really crisp image. And then all I'm going to do with this one, just for one finishing detail, is come in with the glitter pen. This one happens to be from scrapbook.com. There are lots of different brands out there that do these. I just find this one to be a good price and works really well with the clear glitter. I will leave a link to all the supplies down below that are still available that I can find. Otherwise, I'm sure that you pretty much have everything in your stash to create these kinds of cards. So you can see that gorgeous little shine there. And then here is the one that I made a little bit earlier on. This is using the Chicken Family stamp set from Technique Tuesday. I've made several cards on my channel using this stamp set as well. And here is the little How Exciting stamp card that I made, with this one. So I hope you have enjoyed trying out this technique with me today, and let me know in the comments section down below if you have tried out this one before. This is an oldie but a goodie, and I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you so much. See you, bye.